Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you this morning is going to start your day off right, because something out of California, a ruling that just dropped, is invalidating a decades-old model of gun control that they've tried to duplicate across the nation. It's now been ruled unconstitutional. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think on this one, because this is the stuff right here that makes the fight worthwhile. It takes time, but it will always work. And if you are new or you're a returning viewer, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and making sure you turn that notification bell on. We need as many people as we can to get in here. Consider yourselves friends and family so we can pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation. Thank you so much in advance for your consideration, but we have got to talk about this coming out of California, because somewhere, someplace in this great nation, Gavin Newsom's hair gel is running down his face in sweat, and Rob Bonta is trying to mop it up with a napkin. Enough of that, let's get into this. Federal judge blocks key parts of California's handgun law. Now, this is really important because as California has couched themselves as the model for gun control and gun safety across the entire United States for decades now, if you're losing on your home turf, that doesn't bode well for other states to emulate you. That's the important piece, because they are losing at a consistent basis. Check this out. Los Angeles, AP. A federal judge on Monday blocked key provisions of a California law that drastically restricts the sale of a new handgun in the state, of new handguns in the state, saying parts of the legislation violate the Second Amendment. Yeah, no kidding, they violate the Second Amendment. You and I have known that the whole time. But the idea behind the roster, which I'm going to get into in a second, it's basically saying certain things are okay to have, certain things aren't okay to have based off of unsatisfiable features that we have determined as the state. That's unconstitutional, but now a judge has ruled it as such, and they've got 2 weeks until it gets basically halted, all right? Check this out, because this is the stuff. Oh, it's delicious. U.S. District Court Judge Carmack Carney, sitting in Santa Ana, wrote Monday that California's requirements for new handguns are unconstitutional and cannot be enforced. Because of these restrictions, Carney wrote, no new models of semi-automatic handguns have been approved for sale since 2013, and Californians are forced to buy older and potentially less safe models. But that's the entire intent of the design of the law itself. Only buy things that are 10, 15, 20 years old. Only buy things that satisfy our requirements. Eventually, it becomes so unsafe that you aren't going to buy any at all. That's the idea. That's also the reason that they say ban ARs going forward, not the ones behind, because they know the ones behind are going to break. Now, ARs are a little bit different because you can maintain them and fix them and they last around 100 years, but handguns are a little bit of a different animal. Let's keep going, because this judge nails it. He issued a preliminary injunction to take effect in 2 weeks, meaning the state would have to stop enforcing this law. The delay gives the State Department of Justice time to appeal, which of course they're going to, because Rob Bonta is a zealot on gun control. No matter about privacy issues, whole leak situation, or the infringement of Second Amendment rights, it's not about Second Amendment rights. It's not about your rights. It's about the fact that they want gun control. That's the entire thing. They've determined they are right. Doesn't matter what the Constitution says. Doesn't matter what the judges say. Doesn't matter what the amendments say. Doesn't matter. It's what I want, not what the state is. Anyway, let's keep going. So in California, state law requires new handguns to have 3 components, and this is the part that's causing the issue and why it got ruled unconstitutional. A chamber load indicator, which shows whether the gun is loaded, a magazine disconnect mechanism that will stop the gun from firing if the magazine is not properly installed, and micro-stamping capability so law enforcement can more easily link spent shell casing to the guns they were fired from. So those are the 3 things that they want, and any gun that satisfies that is considered on a special roster, which is okay to buy, which is artificially inflated the price, but whatever. That's the whole point, all right? Quote, no handgun available in the world has all 3 features, the judge wrote. These regulations are having a devastating impact on Californians' ability to acquire and use new state-of-the-art handguns, which is the entire point of the design of the law. The entire point is to get you in an archaic area of purchasing, which is unsafe, and it makes you stop through hook or by crook. That's the entire point. But it just got ruled unconstitutional, so all that work that they did for the roster is going to be out the window until they appeal, which they're absolutely going to do, from Rob Bonta, and then it works its way up the chain, just like the AR bans are going to work their way up the chain when Benitez rules them unconstitutional. Everything in California is heading up the pipe, and the Bruin decision now removes the scapegoat of just cause or the different ways that they were looking at from a whole environment approach versus the Second Amendment. That's the entire point. One more thing for you, then we're going to go about our day and listen to this quote. Quote, Californians have the constitutional right to acquire and use state-of-the-art handguns to protect themselves, he wrote. They should not be forced to settle for decade-old models of handguns to ensure that they remain safe inside or outside the home. And that is a very good way to wrap that up. Why should they be relegated to older technology that does the exact same thing because you made an imaginary list of requirements to have a handgun in California? Not to mention the fact that those handguns that are on that roster are only getting more expensive, which is creating cost-prohibitive issues around people who want to have their Second Amendment rights. Again, gun control disproportionately affects the poorer among us, even though their rights are the exact same as the affluent. And that's the big point. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about this one. See you later.